What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to dive into the psychological aspect of bowling. We're going to give you 5 mental game tips you can use to immediately improve your scores out on the lanes. So the mental part of the game is incredibly important, and everybody spends, I would say, almost all of their time out on the lanes trying to throw it better, trying to have more revs, trying to have a better release, a better finish position at the foul line. And while all of those things are extremely important, one area that is easy to work on, because you don't have to be in the bowling alley necessarily to work on, is the mental game. And you can tell the players that work on their mental game, whether they're just league bowlers or they're really high-level competitive bowlers, gain an edge on their opponents, and they improve their scores, they improve their average and their overall success. And we're going to show you right now what that looks like and what you should be focusing on while you're out on the lanes trying to bowl your best. So the first tip we're going to talk about today is a simple one, yet it's something that we all struggle with at times, not only in bowling but just in life in general, and that's focusing on what you can control. There are a lot of uncontrollables in bowling, such as whether or not you win, or whether or not you bowl 300 or you bowl a strike. There are so many things that you really can't fully control in bowling, yet we spend a lot of time focusing on those things. And what we really need to be able to focus on to bowl our best is what we fully can control. So some examples of what you can control are the thoughts that are going through your mind, the self-talk that you utilize when you're out there on the lanes. A lot of us talk badly to ourselves. Oh, you stink, I can't believe you missed that spare. Or you talk fearful and you say, oh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to hit my target, or oh, I'm not good on this sort of a pattern. These are all things that are going to impact how we perform. Focusing on those things that you can control, and that's going to be an easy way for you to improve your scores and improve your bowling as a whole. All right, so the second tip that we're going to give here is another simple one, yet we also struggle with this at times, is not overthinking. Overthinking can lead to what we like to call paralysis by analysis. And if you start to overanalyze every single part of your game, every single thing about the best. Most bowlers, they're bowling their best with a clear mind. And so I think it's okay for you to have maybe 1 or a maximum of 2 thoughts while you're out there on the approach, some things to remind yourself of as you're going through your approach and making your delivery. But when you start thinking about something with your footwork, with your arm swing, with your release, with the lane pattern, your posture, etc., you're not going to be able to bowl your best, because the whole time you're going to be thinking, and you're not going to be able to just go up there, trust your training, and executing your shots. So the third tip here really builds on the first 2 and kind of combines them in a way for this third point, which is staying in your own lane. No pun intended here, but it's really important to focus on yourself and what you need to do to be able to be successful. So often we find ourselves score watching and seeing, oh, so-and-so bowled 220, or so-and-so bowled 140, or so-and-so bowled 300. It doesn't matter, because it truly doesn't have an impact on you and the way that you're going to execute your shots to try to bowl your best. Or we may go over and say, oh, so-and-so's using this ball, so-and-so's bowling on 3rd arrow, or they're trying to hit 2nd arrow. And there are so many things that you're trying to focus on that you're not even focusing on yourself. It's really easy in bowling, especially in competition in league and in tournaments, to become distracted. And it's really important to bowl your best, to remain focused, and to quote unquote stay in your own lane to make sure that you're maximizing your performance. Because at the end of the day, as we all know in bowling, there is no defense. You can't stop somebody from doing what they're doing. You can't go on the lane and tackle them and stop them from throwing their shot. You can only maximize you throwing your shot. And so at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what other people are bowling. It doesn't matter where they're targeting or what ball they're throwing. If you can gather a little bit of information to help you if you're really struggling, that's one thing. But to be constantly analyzing what everybody else in the bowling center is doing, it takes away from your game and your ability to perform your best. The fourth point here is utilizing a pre-shot routine. If you ask most people, well, when does your turn actually start? Most people will say, oh, well, my turn actually starts when my name pops up on the screen. And if we want to be consistent all the way through our shots, if your turn really starts, if your shot really starts when your name pops up on the screen, then you have to do everything consistent every time. It's not just about doing everything consistently with just your footwork or your arm swing or your release. There's a lot of evidence out there in all sports, especially including bowling, that the pre-shot routine can help increase your overall consistency, your repeatability, and therefore help improve your results. So a couple of key things to think about when utilizing a pre-shot routine. You want to keep it simple. If you get too complex with it and you do too many things inside of your pre-shot routine, it's going to be really, really hard for you to A, want to do it, and B, be able to do it, because there's going to be too much going on. It's going to be too easy for you to stray away from a consistent routine every time if there's too many components to it. So keeping it simple and reducing the amount of parts of your pre-shot routine is going to help you be able to execute that consistently over time without thinking about it. All right, guys, so the fifth and final tip here is to go and to practice. And you may say, well, practice, that's a physical thing. You're practicing your physical game, but it also has positive aspects for your mental game as well. And one main component of practicing for your mental game is it helps you build confidence. All confidence is your brain's belief on whether or not it is like you to be able to do something. And so the more that you go to practice, the more your brain is going to believe that it's like you to be able to do what you're trying to do. So for example, if you don't have a lot of confidence when it comes to playing first arrow, going out there and practicing it and having your brain see that you can actually go out there and execute shots on first arrow is going to lead to you having a higher level of confidence when it comes time and competition to do so. So that's it for today's video. 5 quick tips for the mental game that you can easily implement into your game to help you bowl better. Let us know in the comments what parts of the mental game do you already use, do you use any of these tips, and what you could use to get better immediately out on the lanes. As always, thanks for watching. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you guys on the next video.